Great morning, my dear friends, and welcome to the International Institute of Foreign Trade, India's best exim training institute. My dear friends, today I am going to record an important video on an interesting subject. The subject is export import. During this session, you are going to see what do you mean by export import, what is meant by exim trade, international trade or foreign trade, what is meant by home trade, national trade or domestic trade, which are the various opportunities in the international or exim trade, which are the various agencies involved in the international trade, and what is the potential of growth of this exim trade in the international market. Let's see one by one. Home trade. Home trade can also be called as a domestic trade, a national trade. It can be defined as a trade within the country. Trade means any business or commercial transactions which involves sale of goods or sale of services against the realization of money, currency. Then it is called home trade, domestic trade. There are two types of domestic trades. One is between the states, it is called interstates, and if it happens within the state, then it is called intrastate. If it happens within Maharashtra, it is called intrastate. When you sell any goods or services, GST gets applied in this GST regime. Before that, there was VAT regime. Before 2017, there were many taxes which got subsumed in GST, and that structure now became very simpler. Because of that complex structure, all the foreign nationals, that is industrialists, foreign industrialists, businessmen, professionals, they used to frighten themselves for investing in India because of the complex structure, indirect tax structure in India. And hence the government understood that the structure in India is as complex as Brazil, and hence after taking a note on this, the government shifted towards the implementation of goods and service tax. Now it has become simpler. Domestic trade, national trade or home trade is very simpler. There are 5 elements involved in all this kind of transactions. That is buyer, seller, contract, then goods or services, then the currency or money. Now, when you trade, when you sell or purchase goods, the buyer and seller are more or less well known to each other, and because of that, the complexity of non-receipt of payment doesn't arise in domestic trade. If it arises, then there are various remedies of recovery of the payments. So people are not very much frightened to deal in the domestic trade. But when you deal in domestic trade, the profit margins are very less. Though the trade is simple, but the growth potential are very limited. The job opportunities are also very limited, and that's why, as compared to the exim trade, domestic trade has got less importance. Now, coming to the point, next, that is, what do we mean by export import? Export, as you know, when you split the word export, it means export from our port to another port. Means selling of goods from our port to another port to another country is called export. Means taking of the goods from our port, from our country to other country's port. It is called export. And when the goods have been brought from other country's port to our country's port, then it is called import. Import is also having, if you split up the word, it is import. But earlier the word was import, and that's why import means something is coming from other port. So bringing of goods from other ports, other countries' port to our country's port is called import. In other words, export means it is a sale of goods from our country to another country. Import means it is a purchase of goods from other country to our country. It's simpler. The definition is very simpler. But it also involves crossing the customs territory. It has been said that purchase happens when the goods crosses the custom territory. It has been said that when import happens when the goods crosses the custom territory. So custom territory is very important. What is the custom territory and the different things we can't cover here. This is just an awareness of this import-export and gist of the various opportunities, job opportunities, career opportunities, potential. We'll discuss the simpler things now. If you want to know more things in details, then you have to join our course, that is course on import-export management. So let's move forward. Export trade. In this export trade, there are various entities involved. So many entities are involved. There are customs are involved, banks are involved, that is the payments system is involved, that is banking systems are involved, payment terms are involved, delivery terms are involved, various documentation procedures are there, the governing authorities in India are there, then foreign exchange management, RBI is there, who is controlling the foreign exchange. Then there are peak agencies also involved, that is international agencies are also involved in this trade. So many agencies are involved, that is transporters are involved, that is freight forwarders are involved, shipping lines are involved, shipping agents are involved, custom brokers are involved. Apart from that, such type of various intermediaries are involved. So when you see that the definition is simple, but the trade is complex. So when you want to enter into this kind of trade, you must possess the correct knowledge, wisdom, how to apply the knowledge, and you should also have some practical experience. So my dear friends, here comes the hitch. The people who are taking the educations from various universities or something, they are only theoretical, they are not having the practical knowledge, and that's why they are not able to give justice to their education. So ours, the International Institute of Foreign Trade, conducts a practical based training course which gives every idea about the export. We also shows the various types of documents to the students. That's why the students gets exact idea how the trade happens. Now, as I told you, this is a very complex structure, and because of that, when you want to enter into this kind of trade, you should know that is how is the buyer, how the payments has to be made, what is the letter of credit, how the payment can be received, what is hundi, what is various kinds of delivery terms, what is CIF, what is FOB, what is the role of custom broker, what is the role of shipping line, what is the role of FEMA, what is the role of this customs department, what is the role of GST, how this benefits, export benefits can be obtained, which are the various types of export benefits, what is DGFT, what is the role of DGFT, what is the role of Ministry of Commerce, what is the role of EXIM policy, who implement this EXIM policy in India constitutionally. So there are so many factors involved in this EXIM trade, and if you want to have a mastery, over this, on this subject, on this trade, you must join our course. We here make the student, businessman or professionals perfect expertise in this EXIM trade, and then they can apply this knowledge into their respective area and they can become successful. So now, as I told you, the growth upon this, as the various agencies are involved, apart from that, why you should enter into this kind of trade? Because this trade has got various dimensions of growth. In this trade, one aspect is that the GDP of world is about 88 trillion, and the Indian GDP is only 3.3% of the world. Correct? So what is the scope, what is the potential of growth of export? If you want to become an exporter, how much is the potential of growth in the world? Correct? It is about 90%, 98% you can grow. You can achieve 97%. The world export is also about 20 trillion. And India is exporting only about 300 billion. So it is only 1.7% of the world's export, yearly export. So if you want to grow, how much is the potential? If you want to grow in GDP, if you want to grow in export, there is a great potential. Further point I want to tell you that the export earning which we are earning yearly, that is our country's export, is about 48% of our GDP. Means whatever is our GDP, the stake of export is about 48%. So my dear friends, if we increase the export, in the international market, think about the GDP India will achieve. Think about the export target India will achieve. It is now only 2.94 trillion. It is now only 330 billion. And economy is 2.94 trillion. We want to become a 5 trillion economy. Till 2025. That's why our PM, respected PM, has opened the door for Make in India as well as Atmanirbhar. So these two kind of schemes, we can become self-sufficient, self-reliant, and we can export and achieve a first ranking in the export. Currently, we are at the 13th ranking in the export. Though we are at the third ranking in the GDP, but we are at the 13th ranking and China is at the first ranking. My dear friends, China is at the first ranking in the international trade. So if you want to achieve a benchmarking, then it should be 5 trillion. 5 trillion economy. When we are achieving 5 trillion economy, automatically the exports will be more, the stake will be more than 25%. So 25% of the world stake, that is it will be 5 trillion. Automatically the 5 trillion will be the export and the economy will also grow more than 5 trillion. So China's export at current level is about 2.5 trillion and it is having first ranking in the entire exports, 20 trillion economy. It is having 13% of stake and we are about 19th ranking. In this year it has got again reduced 2020 and it has reached to 19th ranking. Earlier it was 13th rank. So GDP wise, though we are at the third largest economy in the world, but export wise we are lagging behind, and that's why if you want to achieve that target, you all has to enter into a area of this export import which is having a great potential. When there is a 20 trillion economy, 88 trillion economy, and when there is a 20 trillion exports, world export, so there is a tremendous potential of growth. India has got the mines, India has got the products, various products, India has got the quality, and India has got India is a labor intensive country. That's why all the factors can be met, that is manufacturing the product with a great quality at a competitive price can be achieved. Apart from that, the government is giving various export incentive to the exporters. Hence, the third important factor which I want to tell you, that the profit margin in the export market can go up to 30%, 40% based on the variety of product. You can achieve great success in export market. You can achieve a great growth in this export market. So there is a great potential. Though the trade is complex, there is a great potential. There is a great profit margin. And there is a great opportunities in the international and exempt trade. The opportunities are the job opportunities. You can get deployed, you can get appointed at the custom brokers, at the shipping line, at the banks, at the export-import company. There are various kinds of companies, 100% export-oriented units are there, STPI are there, BSTP is there, then EOU is there, SEZs are there, EPZs are there. So there are various kind of export-oriented units or SEZ, special economic zones are there. You can get a better jobs in this kind of companies, manufacturing companies. You can get better jobs in services export organizations. You can get the jobs in the Ministry of Commerce. You can get jobs in customs. You can get jobs in GST. You can get jobs in the government organization. You can get jobs in public sector undertaking. You can get jobs in various limited companies. You can get jobs in the export promotion councils. So you can get jobs in Ministry of Commerce. So there is no limitation for getting jobs. You have got, you can get jobs in logistic companies, you can get jobs in freight forwarding companies, shipping companies, logistics companies. So there are n number of opportunities in this exempt trade. So there are job opportunities as well as there are business opportunities. You can set up a custom bonded warehouse. You can set up a special economic zone. You can set up a 100% EOU. You can set up a service export oriented unit. You can set up a banking, forex banking unit. You can set up custom broker. You can be a logistic company. You can set up a freight forwarding company. You can set up a shipping agency. You can be a shipping agency as well as shipping company. You can set up a shipping company. You can deal in chartering of the cargo planes or chartering of the ships. So there are n number of opportunities. Unless you know what is EXIM trade in depth, you will not be able to get the gist of this subject. So the trade is complex, but for whom? For those who does not understand the subject in depth and who does not master in this subject contains knowledge and wisdom. So if you want to have a mastery on the subject, contains knowledge, practical and wisdom, then please join us. Join our institute's various types of courses. There are 4 related courses of in this area. One is called Export Import Management. Second is Custom Clearing Management. Third is Freight Forwarding Management. Fourth is Shipping Management. Fifth is Supply Chain and Logistics Management. Sixth is Port and Terminal Management. So apart from this, there are various more courses, but 4 courses you must opt. One, that is Export Import. Second, Custom Clearing, Freight Forwarding and Shipping. These 4 courses you must do when you want to have a mastery on this EXIM trade. So my dear friends, the fees are very less. You can visit on my website. I am going to share you the PPT along with this video. You can visit my website, that is www.iift.webs.com, as well as you can also visit my personal website, that is www.kishoresanap.wixsite.com. So my dear friends, please, all these kind of courses are nowadays in the COVID regime, we are conducting online and e-learning type. So that's why the fees are very less due to the COVID regime, and I want to also contribute to the